What's up, YouTube?
Wi-Fi.
I just always wanted to do that and be on some kind of video or be silly. But this particular video I'm getting ready to show you is a young man getting a bald mid-fade with the slick mustache without the beard because he's in retail and he likes that clean look. Further ado, we gonna get into the video sooner than later. Thank you for stopping by, checking me out, and supporting the channel. Check it out, stay tuned. And forever and ever, stay crispy. What's up, YouTube? Back again, one more time. What's up with you? How you doing? It's all good in your hood, your community, your section, your area? You doing well when you function? All right. Well, I'm back again with another tutorial. This right here is a mid-bald fade. We always started out by combing the client's hair. Some particular fades, some people like it dark, and for whatever reason that is, hey, it's their style, they look, they do it how they like. So we're gonna begin this tutorial by combing the client's hair. And I always do pretty much the same starting steps. And that will be grab my ZRs, my Andis, and put the 5-out blade on and create that first primary bald line. And that line is created just so that you'll know where the fade ends and usually where it begins. So what I'm doing is I take that 5-out blade and I bald it out on the sides because it doesn't create such a harsh bald line. And what it does is makes it easier to transition, and then you don't have that faint line in your haircut. And what happens is it's really hard to get that line out. So this makes it a little simpler, and then you just come behind it with your trimmer. And once you've used your trimmers to clean it out, it'll make it really easier from in your transition when you're balding out the hair. Then once you finish your fade, that distinct little line that's there from creating that first primary bald line will not be so hard to get out. It makes it easier on you as a barber. And it takes time off. It makes it simpler for you to continue to do some detail work or, feel satisfaction from your fade. Okay, our next step is after that first primary line, we set in our secondary line. And me, being a barber for 38 years, I like to, challenge myself, as I always say and do. Just for the younger barbers, just beginning, I want you to understand that this is not a step that you just jump right into. So what I'll do is, instead of setting my guideline, secondary line in with the 1 blade, I'll skip up and do the 1A. And I set it in that way because in my mind, I already have it made up on how I'm gonna approach and attack this certain haircut. So what the 1 does is it allows you to be careful and follow through. So if you're a young barber, I would believe it would be safe for you to start with the 1. But I'm just telling you my process so you can understand how you begin to think and become the haircut as a barber throughout time. But as I was saying, I start my guideline out with a 1A. And it makes it simpler because for me, it's a heavy day. And I know how to assess how to get through with a haircut a little quicker than what I would normally if I had just time to enjoy going through the process. And once you set in that 1A blade line, what you want to always do is make sure that your lines are neat, preparing for the very next step. And what you need to always take into consideration is that you want a clean canvas to work with so that you can see where you're getting ready to go with this next step. So now at this point, you should have all kind of ideas of how you want your blend to be and how you want it to look. And as you start working towards that magnificent blend that you're looking for, that journey which gives you your signature of who you are, make sure that you watch how far you hit that bottom line. right before you begin to hit that point of, what is it called? Seeing the transition. So now as I step into this part, I put on the zero blade. I'm sorry, not the zero blade, 0.5 blade. And I start hitting that bottom line and watching it start coming to life, because now you can see the canvas and you can see how your blend is gonna stack from one layer to the next. And that's when it starts feeling good, because you got an idea of where you're going with your fade, and that's a good feeling. You don't want your fade to raise up too high. So starting from the bottom, it don't always work in your favor. And once I've set out that, lighten that first primary line up, then I come behind with the 0.3 out blade and I tap that very bottom line. And as you see now, this blend is starting to become extra crispy and coming together. Oh, I love it. That's just how I like it. Well, anyway, it makes me feel confident and proud about, what I'm doing at the time. And once I've finally done that, then I go and I'll take the 1.5 blade, which you see right here now in the video, and I start attacking it. And what that does is you start seeing that blade, as you scoop out with it, start setting in that whole blend and seeing where it's gonna come together. And you can step back and see that blend is coming together. You practically already got it. Now you're doing a little detail work as you go, and it makes you feel good. And the only thing you gotta do is turn around and match it up to the other side the same way. So where we at now is we have the 1.5, and we just going over and cleaning up. And what you can do with that 1.5 blade is that you can continuously hit from that very bottom line, that primary line that you set in, and come all the way up to that secondary line, because it can't do nothing but be used as a texturizing guard, because as now what you're doing is texturing the hair, and whatever you missed, it's going to even that out. And if not, you can drop down and use the next best thing and even that out as well. So you're really working in your motion. Stay in your motion. You're heading in the right direction. Making something out of nothing, procreation, it's a beautiful thing. Just remember that. Stay beautiful. Okay, at this point of videoing, YouTubers, I understand that angles of your camera is very important. And when you're using or sharing a closed space in the shop, I believe that you really don't have a lot of room or space. So what I try to focus on in my journey in YouTubing and editing videos, I try to give a classy, as best shot of giving you an example of one side, to where as if that you can get an example of how it looks with a real detailed imagery of that one side, so you'll know through the steps that you'll switch over and do the very same thing on the next side. So at this point, now I'm over on the other side, and I'm only able to give you the angle that my camera view would allow. But I believe that explaining it to you like this will really help you along the way in your journey. And that's why I believe, as being a barber's barber, as well as those who's excited and interested in the barbering industry, that this will help them along the way, because we're going to have some barbers that come in the future, because this is a game that we can't hold to ourselves. You can call it what you want, but you really want to give the game, because the game's going to elevate. Because when I started cutting, there was no YouTube, there was no MySpace, there was no Instagram or Facebook. So I'm just giving you a little game right now, hoping that you take it and you tuck it in your back pocket and you use it. But back to the video. I'm on the other side and I'm doing the same thing, and I'm trying to be cognizant of my time, and at the same time still speaking and politicking with people as they coming in, because that's good customer service. You want to always greet people when they come in at the door, because it gives you an opportunity to speak with everyone, because you never know, at some particular time someone might need your services because their barber's not available. So this is how you move into the industry, and always let people know, hey, I'm okay. Whenever you need me, I'm here and I'm available to you. That's just marketing yourself and doing the right things going forward. But back to the video at hand. I'm doing the same steps and I'm working from one side to the other. And I'm blending it in, looking at my other side, just like as if I was on that side, to make sure that all my fade steps are in order, they're accurate from how I started, and they transition the same way on each side. And I come around and I look and I look and I do my time. I look at my timing on my watch and I keep on blending and I go from one side to the other, and the mirror is your best friend. Now we're at the point of just cleaning up and we're getting ready to begin the lining process. The line really enhances and brings out the haircut. It makes it pop. And that's what it's all about, making it pop, pop, pop. And it's important because what that does is it gives you a real distinctness of your haircut. And I like to use a product called Pump It Up by Bronner Brothers. It's a holding spritz. Back to the haircut. I start my line from the center and I usually work my way to the left because I'm left-handed. For some reason, it's just more comfortable for me. And I work left to right from the center, which usually gives you an accurate, clean, straight line. And that's where the product comes into play. The product usually gives you a nice ash mark, which creates an even canvas for you to see your line where your mind might or eyes might play tricks on you because of the lighting, continuously looking and everything that's going on around you. So you want to make sure that you do it to make sure you give yourself a good line. And at this point, usually most barbers are trying to rush through so they can get through to get to the next customer. Instead of doing that, focus on making sure your line is straight, that those details come into play, because that's what brings people back. Then my next step is that I have a comb that has a thinning razor on it. I like to use it because it cleans out little bulk areas that you wouldn't normally go behind yourself and get. But it gives a real good detail to your haircut. So as being a barber, I really recommend you getting one of those thinning combs. And then your last step before you begin the process of starting the beard trim, you take your clippers and you get all those loose hairs on top. And now for the next step, you prep them to get ready to do the shave. You lean them back and make sure that your customer is comfortable. And you work from one side to the other. He's just getting a basic clean face with a mustache. I like to call it the stash. He just wants a fresh stash. You understand me? A stash. So we clean the sides of his face up real clean. Turn him towards the camera, get the other angle, show that it doesn't take a lot to do this part. This is a simple type of a beard trim. Beard trims can be difficult because you're trying to line up someone's face that is normally not even anyway, because we're not made perfectly, but we're perfectly in our imperfections. But that's a whole nother video we'll talk about when I do a beard trim by itself. But back to the video, we're just cleaning him up clean, making sure that we get all the little stubbles and getting him ready, because he's in retail. He likes to be in front of people clean cut and shaven. So we clean off the chin and the neck area. We line up the mustache, get it to his likings, make him ready for the public, and shazam, there we have it. We pull the rabbit out of our hat. We come to the other side of the mustache and do the same thing. It's the process of repeat, repeat, repeat. So now I'm still working on the mustache because I want to make sure that it's even on both sides. So I like to go over. I'm what you call a perfectionist. I like to make sure things is right. Sometimes that works in your favor. Sometimes it works out of your favor because you can overwork yourself because of timing. And And then you cause yourself to run into the process of just doing stuff repeatedly. And that's when you're supposed to recognize it's time to stop, because there's no such thing as a perfect haircut. At this point, you should really be more cognizant of your time. And me, I'm not the one to really say or talk about that too tough, because I'm a perfectionist and I take a lot of extra time that's unnecessary. But I'll tell you that this allows you to maximize your time, and that's what you're trying to do at best, is maximize your time to service more clients. Okay, at this point, I'm on in with the razor. It's the razor line. We're going and doing our last finishing touches of our detail to make sure everything lines up crisp. And me, I take this serious, because that razor, you can tear somebody up with it. You better be careful. Stay on your P's and Q's and pay attention to what you're doing with that razor. And you even have to watch out for them, because sometimes they'll sneeze, or they'll want to jump, or they want to move and forget that they up underneath the razor. And it ain't no coming back from that. That razor is unforgiving. It'll slice you like a Ginsu knife. But now, after I finish with the razor, I go through the process of shear trimming and getting little loose hairs and things as necessary. At this point, to my YouTube fam, Instagram, Facebook friends, it's come to an end. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, and add.